What was that? Sorry?
I have a lot of follow-up calls. I've been trying really hard lately to make sure that if there is a follow-up to do a deposit, I've been going through like Andy's notes on the call recordings and stuff like that and just trying to take that feedback and implement it. But for sure, like there's been lots of instances where I do have follow-up calls for sure. So I can definitely take feedback and work on that.
Got it. Anybody else wants to chime in, share anything?
Are you saying that we're not making the full transformation in one call? You're just like, we're not having our people be certain enough? Okay.
So basically what I'm saying is that based on our reviews, what we're seeing is that we should be leading more in the closing call and delivering the transformation and not accepting or buying into their limitations on why they have to think about it or this or that. And therefore, we're going to book a follow-up call, right? Three weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, of course, if you're new, of course, you're not going to know this, but the ones who were here 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, in one of the meetings, I came and I said, okay, from now moving forward, we're not going to book follow-up calls. Do you guys remember that? I said, I don't want you to book any follow-up calls without a down payment. Without the down payment, it's either we close them or we burn the lead. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that, Kendall? When we had that meeting?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. I guess I know that it's not an excuse, but are there certain circumstances though? Let's say someone's applying for financing, those kinds of things where there might need to be a follow-up call. But yeah, absolutely.
But the fascinating thing and the interesting thing, and I want all of us to see this, is that when I said that week and Andy, please confirm, was the week that we had less follow-up calls. Because I said that you cannot book follow-up calls unless they put something down. And the effort in leadership was super high that week. Because you were like, oh, fuck, I cannot book a follow-up call. So I have to just resolve it here.
So just to chime in, we had less follow-up calls booked overall, but we had a lot more deposits. That, of course, were followed by a follow-up call, but we already collected some cash on that.
Okay. So it's not that you guys cannot do it. You can do it. It's that there's a resistance that comes from within you and you don't overcome it, right? You just don't overcome it because you're afraid. I don't know what you're afraid of, but this is a safe place. You can share. What are you afraid of? Because that's the very thing that's preventing you from making more money, literally. This is like hitting your goals and helping more people. Go ahead, Kendall.
Well, I actually had a situation yesterday, and I've been taking Andy's notes very seriously in the reviews because I review my own calls too. So yes, for example, yesterday, for every single person that I had to book a follow-up call with, I recommended to put something down to make progress. So I had one situation where a lady, she didn't say anything till the end about having to talk to her partner about it. And I still mentioned that we put something down and then she could have the conversation. She could have some bonus training, and we could meet up. And she just said has had issues with her credit card and spending too much. And so she can't make the decision without her husband. So what do you do there? I see your face. I need
because it's just, if we just rewind to what you said, I recommended her. By you telling me that you're saying that you are recommending someone to do something, I immediately know that you were in convincing mode and you were triggering sales resistance. And of course, people are going to come up with excuses on why they cannot do it because they feel sold. They feel, oh, Kendall is just trying to just close me here on the spot. And that's the situation you have to avoid. You cannot tell them what to do. Because if you tell them what to do, you are a sneaky salesman. You are the typical, you will be thrown in the exact same bag or box. Everybody here, like even you as consumers. Imagine someone tells you, yeah, what are you looking for? You enter a store or wherever. I recommend you to do this. What would you do? It's, no, I'm just still looking. What would you do the same when you force a deposit or force a down payment? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, now I'll have to go back and see how I worded it, because I try to use the what would you do today in order to get closer towards your dreams, like you kind of usually say. And what
Yeah.
to make progress. But so what do
Again,
you
no
say?
judgment. Yeah, no worries. So no judgment. Like the purpose of this meeting is for us to grow, for us to get better, so that we can help more people. Right. So I'm gonna do some role plays, but before I want to get some concepts dialed in, because there's new people here, and I just want to make sure we're all in sync. Okay, so I'm gonna do a round of questions. Okay. So when we drop the price and we don't get an objection less close, and someone just throws at us any kind of resistance, what is the immediate thing we have to do? Chime in. What do we do? It's $6,000. I gotta think about it. There's a lot of money. What do we do? What is the strategic direction we take? If you don't know, just put in the chat, I don't know. If you know, just chime in and share, or put in the chat. What do we do? It's
I would
not
say
only for
probe
it's not only for the closers, it's for everybody here.
I would probe into it personally. If someone says
Okay,
that,
but as far as a framework, what is the stage that you enter in?
IDIC.
IDIC, yeah.
What was that?
IDIC.
IDIC. Everybody agrees? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Who knows here? No, who doesn't know what IDIC is? Just say me.
Me. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So Nick and Ronin. The rest, we all know what IDIC is. Yes or no? Okay, can someone explain to Ronin and Nick what IDIC is, please?
So IDIC is first, the I is identify what the actual objection is by obviously asking into how, for example, if they say, I want to think about it, say something like, okay, no worries. When you say that you want to think about it, what comes up to mind, just to see if I can help. And then they will answer to really identify what it is. And then D is diffuse. So you want to diffuse it by not leaning back, but almost in a way to sort of understand, don't say, yeah, I agree. But more, okay, just so I can understand from my side. And then I is isolate. So you ask them, so you ask them, if this wasn't an issue, what would your next steps be? So that you can get an answer of exactly what they would do if that actual objection wasn't an issue. And then C is to confirm that, to say that if this wasn't an issue, just to confirm that you're 100% with everything else, the only thing keeping you back is A, B, C, X, Y, Z, something like that.
Okay. That's the first thing we do. We don't solve the objection. We don't judge the person, don't try to fix anything. First thing we do if we get resistance is IDIC. Is identifying what the real objection is. We diffuse and release tension by saying something that allows them to feel validated. It's okay to have that concern. It's normal that I hear you. I can appreciate that. Then we isolate the objection. If that concern wasn't a concern, if that issue wasn't an issue, what would you do? Why we isolate? Tell me, why do we need to isolate here? Why is that important?
Make sure that's the only thing that's going on.
Exactly. That's what isolation does. Is this the only objection, or is there anything else? You guys with me? How do we isolate fear? Someone is fearful. How do we isolate fear?
You would ask, what would you do if you couldn't fail?
If you knew you couldn't fail. Exactly. Okay. So if we identify, oh, this person is fearful, we ask, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would your next steps be? And then we confirm. Okay. Once we do IDIC, number one, we're gonna come out from that section of the conversation in a more stronger position, where we're not a salesman, we're not the typical guy trying to convince you of anything. IDIC positions you as an authority and someone that is there to help. Okay, and then based on whatever you've isolated, you start solving it. That is the second phase. of objection handling. Phase 1 is IDIC. The second phase is lead and overcome. We lead and we help them overcome whatever we've isolated. Okay? If they give us a money logistical and money fear, we first start with logistical objections. We solve logistical objections first. We leave fear towards the end. And then once they give us the fear, we start looping and looping until you just run out of time. Are we all on the same page in that sense? So that's what, if you really want to be in the 1%, if you really want to facilitate change and because at the end of the day, guys, if you are attached to the sale, you're cooked. You're already losing. You're already failing all these people, letting them down. We're not attached to the sale. We're attached to the process, because the process allows us to change someone's life. And the way we change someone's life is by changing their state. And their state is composed by the way they think, the way they feel, and the way they behave. Because behavior and decisions is just a natural result of thoughts and feelings. So if you can condition thoughts and feelings, you can condition the behavior of the decision. So you don't want to force the decision. You want to facilitate a process that allows someone that is thinking fearful, doubt, or whatever, is feeling these negative emotions. What you want to do is you want to you want to do a transfer of thoughts, transfer of feelings, so they feel empowered, strong, determined, courageous. And when someone is thinking positive, strong, powerful, that is feeling all of those emotions, the natural next step is to go and freaking pursue their goals. And then from there, the natural next step is, what do I do? What can I do to wake up tomorrow being one step closer to my goals? That is the focus. You're not selling a product, you're selling a state. So when you drop the price and they just go into a dark state, negative state, what you have to sell them on is on a better state. If you put them on a better state of mind, they will naturally want to take one step closer. The sale is not the product, the sale is the state. You need to sell them a better state. And once they step into that state, they want to change. Does that make sense? That's what you guys need to think. This person is not in a buying state. It's not in a courageous, determined, commitment state. How do I put this person in that state? And that's all that matters. You just ask questions and facilitate, space. So by them answering, they enter that state. That's why the way you isolate fear is saying, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Because that allows them to go from fearful and doubtful to courageous and inspired. Oh, I don't know, I have all these things. Yeah, okay, no worries, I can understand. That's life. Now, just for a moment, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? If you knew you could accomplish everything you wanted in life, and that this was going to be the springboard to take your kids to private school and provide them a financially safe life, what would you do? What would you do if you knew that after this decision, everything would change? That question allows you to control their focus, allows you to turn their focus, allows you to get them focusing on fear, negativity, worst case scenario, everything that can go wrong, to everything that can go right. All the possibilities, all the opportunities. And then when you ask why, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Oh, I would do it. Why would you do that though? Oh, because I know, that I cannot fail, so I will achieve my goals. You're controlling what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Right? And then of course, we can facilitate a reframe, provide a perspective that is in alignment with that state. So we're shifting the focus. It's just a matter of shifting the focus so they think a certain way, they feel a certain way, and then once they are there, you can close them. What do you feel you need to do to act in alignment, in accordance to that individual you want to be? What do you feel you need to do to be one step closer to being that person? What do you feel puts you in the best position possible to wake up tomorrow knowing that change has already begun? What do you feel needs to happen So when you wake up, you can look back with pride that you're doing the right things despite the feelings. And that is you focusing on the person. That is you focusing on inspiring and changing the person for the better. And from that place, they will naturally want to buy from you. But if all you are thinking is, what can I say so this person put down $100, you're going to trigger a ton of sales resistance, because it has nothing to do with $100. It has nothing to do with $500. Melissa, I'm gaining nothing from $100, $200. This is not about me, Melissa. This is about you drawing a line in the sand and prove to yourself that you deserve better than what you've got, that you deserve a better life. You can think about it all the time that you want. I don't care. All I care is about leaving you better than how you came in. And if you go out of this conversation being the exact same Melissa you were when you started, what would that say about me as a leader? Would you want a leader like that? Would you want someone that is not going to put you in the best position possible for you to achieve your goals? Do you want that type of leader that is willing to give up on you? Or do you want someone that is not going to give up on you, is going to see the greatness in you? What do you want? Okay. So what do you feel needs to happen today? So when you walk out of this conversation, you are a different Melissa that thinks differently, that acts differently, and therefore has any chance to achieve a different result. What needs to happen? Do you feel doing nothing is going to get you closer to being the Melissa you want to be? And you can be honest with me. I've had tons of these conversations. No, okay. I understand this is a big jump for you. How about you do one step? Do you feel doing one step will put you in a better position? You see what I'm doing? It's not about the money. It's about breaking patterns of decisions, breaking patterns of thinking, patterns of feeling. Have you ever considered that way of thinking has led you to be where you are right now? Where every time you go into your comfort zone, you backpedal. You go to the edge of your comfort zone and you backpedal. Edge of your comfort zone and you backpedal. And you backpedal. Oh, I never thought about it. Could this be the very thing that's causing you to be trapped in a life that you don't like, where you have to commit? Have you ever thought about it? And if you don't break this pattern now, today, with someone that can help you, do you feel that those patterns are going to get stronger to break or weaker in the future? Melissa answers stronger. Yeah, because you feed them. You feed that monster. Are you willing to allow those patterns that are keeping you in this life of mediocrity to keep conditioning life or whatever you can or cannot achieve? It's your life, not mine. You decide. No, I'm not. Why not? But what happens if you do? What happens if you walk out of this conversation as any other conversation you've had in the last 6 months? What's going to happen, Melissa? So what do we need to do so when you walk out of this conversation, you're a different person? What do we need to do today? And I can keep freaking looping forever. Hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to facilitate change. And change is a different way of thinking, a different way of feeling, a different way of behavior. And that's why they have to put a down payment, because that represents commitment and behavior. But it's for them, it's not for me. Are you willing to bet on yourself today, Melissa? Are you willing to draw a line in the sand today and start walking closer to the life that you deserve? Do you believe that you deserve that life? Do you believe that it's possible for you? And what do you feel you need to do to be worthy of that life? This is out of script. It's just, I'm just leading her. Questions?
I have a question on, when you execute like the looping side of things where they've got that fear-based sort of objection. I don't know if there is a line between intimidating someone or actually, I don't know, because I feel like I come across, especially when I look at my calls.
Question. Everything that I've said for the last 5 minutes, did you feel intimidated? Do you feel that I'm trying to sell you something, that I'm being pushy, that I'm just trying to force you to do something? Just chime in.
No,
this is like, Why is that? Why don't you feel salesyness in how I come across? Why do you think it is? Just chime in.
Because you're trying to inspire them to see their goals and have the realization on their own. So you're asking them the questions and leading them through the process. What do you need to do today in order to get to be that best mom for your kids, and getting them to come up with the answers on their own. You're not pushing any belief or decisions on them at all.
Just to touch on Brian's point, I think some people have a tough time realizing that, because this is probably the first time they're going to have a conversation like that in their lives. So you might see them feel intimidated or whatever, because it's like, this is the first time they're hearing it, and it's like a real conversation. They're like coming to realization with it. And if you do it well.
But yeah, but it's normal that it's normal and it's good that they feel uncomfortable and fearful. But they shouldn't be feeling intimidated by you. Who's familiar with what I just put in the chat? Who's familiar? Who can tell me what that means? So this is when you're communicating. When you're communicating, there's what, how, why, and where. Does that ring a bell? Anybody?
It's a state thing, right? So I'm not sure if it's right, but what are you trying to solve, or maybe something like that?
So no worries. So when you communicate, okay, you can be communicating from one or multiple of these 4 places. You can be focused. You can prioritize one of these 4 things. What you say, which is your words. What are you saying? How are you saying it? Why are you saying it? But the most important thing is, where are you coming from when you're saying what you're saying? Where are you coming from? So there's the words, what you say, the scripts, the patterns, the reframes. There's the how you say it, your tone, and you focus on your tone. I want to sound curious. There's why you're saying it. And there's like, where are you coming from when you are saying what you're saying? The most powerful thing you can lean on and leverage is your where. The reason why you don't feel when I was saying all the things I was saying, the reason why you don't feel that salesiness, you don't feel me trying to pressure you, you don't feel intimidated, is because of my where I am coming from when I'm communicating to you. I am detached. I don't fucking care if you buy this product or any other product. I am coming from a place of stepping into your world, but not buying into the limitations that has led you to be in a life of mediocrity. My where is compassion, is love, is help. That is my where. That's why you feel that. Because that's where I'm coming from, where I'm communicating. I'm not coming from a place of, this freaking motherfucker, another think about it, objection. Gosh, fuck, okay. I'm not coming from that place. I'm not judging the person. I'm not coming from, fuck, another objection. Okay, what do I have to do now? What do I see? That's selfish. That's me thinking about me and what do I need to do so I can achieve my goals. That's not my word. My word is, okay, this person it's uncertain. They need certainty. They need acceptance. They need to feel appreciated, understood, and they need clarity, certainty, and someone who can trust. They can trust. Makes sense? And if I can do it, you guys can do it. I'm not even a native speaker. My English sucks, right? But again, the words doesn't matter. What you say matters less than how you. So the most important thing is the where, then the why, then the how, and the last thing is the what. Does that make sense? It's like a pyramid, right? And the where is the most important thing. Because my what is, you have a better what than me. You have better words. Like, you're native. I'm not native. But my where is super strong. Where I'm coming from, I'm completely detached for this. I don't care what you do. If you want to think about it. But what kind of leader would I be if I leave you in the exact same place you came in? What would that say about me as a leader? So if you want to give up on you, you can give up on you, but I'm not giving up on you because I see the greatness in you and I believe you can do something different today. And you can change today if you let me help you, but you don't have to. I don't know. It's just however it comes, whatever the words come, it doesn't matter. It's just the word. Okay. So it's that. It's not, ultimately, it's not the scripts, the words, the framework. Those things are Yes, because it gives you clarity. IDIC, lead and overcome. But then once you are in a fear-based looping sequence, do you know how to ride a bike? It's not the words. I can give you 25 reframes, right? Like I can give it to you like I actually have given it to you. You have it, right? You have the reframes there. You have the document. But why, when I say, why two people can say the exact same thing and land in two completely different ways? Because of the where. The where is the most important thing. Makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess my only thing was like, I don't know if they see that change of demeanor when I go to IDIC, but I kind of am a little bit nice during the beginning, maybe discovery, presentation. And when it comes to IDIC, I almost turn into this, maybe not, but a little bit more, because I've had some coaching things in the past, and I come out as this coach, which is a little bit more like telling them what to do kind of thing, rather than asking the questions. Maybe it's just a habit that I need to get rid of.
No, that's just no, Brian, your energy is great. Like you have a good energy. It's just maybe a little bit of what happens with who's as well. It's just the way you naturally come across, that you're too much downward inflecting, which is not, I would just rather have that someone that is more people pleasing. That's more difficult, right? So because that way of that demeanor actually puts you in an authority figure. Yes, you can come up condescending. Yes, you can come up like a little bit of a jerk, but I would just rather have you guys come up more over that side as opposed to the other. Does that make sense? And it doesn't matter if we just get complaints or about, I got your back, that's why I'm here. Okay. But we're learning. That's what we're here for. You know, we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. And it's just part of the game. One of the things you guys can do, if you know you tend to come across that way, is to, and I've given this feedback to who's, is give context. Before you go, you give context, you ask for permission. Hey, can I share something personal with you? Yes. Okay, you're not gonna like it. Are you sure? Okay, and this is not to come out rude or anything. It's just I'm seeing something and I think it can be helpful. Are you okay with me sharing that with you? Now they know where you're coming from. Okay, Melissa, can we stop for a second? Can I share something with you? Yes. And just so you know, what I'm about to share with you is not what you want to hear, but rather what you need to hear. Is it okay if I share that with you? Yes. And I also want you to know that I'm coming from a place of really wanting to help you. Do you trust me? Do you trust my intentions? Okay. And boom, then you share it.
Can you say that in the beginning, after you've done IDIC, or after a couple of loops?
Whenever you want. Yeah, whenever you want. You see the behavior, now you're going to challenge the behavior, you ask for permission. Right? I got to think about it. Oh, yeah, no worries. We can have another conversation, it's fine. Now, just so I can be prepared and make sure that I can help the next time when we speak, what is it that you want to go over in your mind? Just to see if I can help. I don't know, that's why I want to think about it. Got it. Well, you're not going to meditate and sort of like be there in blank hope, waiting for the answer to fall into your lap. You're going to go over something. So what are those main things popping up for you? Oh, I don't know right now. That's, I guess, when I think about it, those things will come up. Okay, so most cases it's either one of these four things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one resonates the most with you? Well, I don't know. Okay, can we just stop for a second? And can we time out and can I share something with you off the records? Okay, it's not what you want. It's not something that you're gonna love. It's not what you want to hear. Instead, what you need to hear, you're not gonna like it. Are you sure you want to hear it? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Okay, and before I share that, just so you know where I'm coming from, this is not the first time that this happened to me when someone has a great intention, a great vision, and a lot of potential, and I see this pattern. So it's just me coming from a place of truly wanting to help you break those patterns. Do you trust me? Do you trust that I have the best intentions in mind? Yes, I do. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing. Oh, okay. Have you ever considered that way of thinking has led you to be where you are right now, where you don't seem to know why, but every time you just get to the edge of your comfort zone, nothing changes. There's only delay. There's no pattern of commitment and pattern of action. Have you ever considered that? Yeah, Maybe, possibly. Hey, you don't have to be open to that. You can still be close. Again, like, I'm just trying to help you here. Get from where you are to where you want to be. If you want the help, like, you don't have to have that help. Like, you tell me, yeah, no, yeah, you might be right. I might be right. What do you think? Let's face it. You can be honest with me. Have you ever considered that way of thinking has been the invisible bars that has led you to be where you are right now? Because every time you get to the edge of your comfort zone, there's only shrinking. There's only backpedaling. Honestly, like, genuinely, what do you think? Yeah, I know what you're doing, but yeah, you can call it like that. Again, like, you don't have to listen to anything I'm saying. You can just keep carrying on with, the way you've been behaving. That being said, if I'm not mistaken, before you told me that you wanted this, you wanted that. What kind of individual is able to produce those kind of results? Tell me. What are the character traits of that individual that individual needs to have? I don't know. Well, if you really thought about it, do you feel that person needs to be more courageous or more sort of like doubtful? Courageous. Are you sure? You tell me. Courageous. Do you feel that person is more committed and determined and more decisive or more indecisive? Committed and determined. Okay, so if you want to have these things, would you agree that you would need to become this type of person? Yes, I would. Are you sure? Yes. And are you ready to become that person? Because you don't have to. Okay, so what do you feel you need to do today? And what character traits you need to exhibit and display today so that you can start becoming that person? Do you feel you need to display courage and decisiveness, or delaying and shrinking as opposed to expanding? What do you feel? You tell me. Okay, cool. So watch this recording. We've covered a lot. We did some examples, and start implementing it in your calls, guys. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If your where is healthy, if you're coming from the right place, you should. If you get hung up, fine, dude. Like, I'm only going to cheer you up. I'm only going to shout out you if that's what's happening, because that's what we do. That's what this team is going to do. We are here to provide transformational conversations, not nice conversations, not surface level conversations. That's why I would just rather prefer Brian and Hus come up condescending than lowering and being more. But you have to be the main enemy right now. The main person getting in the way right now of you being able to step into that state is yourself. Because you see the difficult conversation happening and you shrink. No, you have to expand. Go, this is my time to shine. This is my time to show up as a leader, to challenge the beliefs, to challenge the way of thinking, to stay there, to cast the certainty, the clarity. This is how I make an impact. You have to expand in those moments, embrace the discomfort, and you will start changing tons of people, tons of lives.